first narrowboat holiday was a 3-day break, which soon led to many more. We holidayed in England, Scotland and Wales. We soon decided it was the lifestyle we wanted to live, so we began our journey to find a boat to meet our needs. After many visits to view boats, we made the choice to have one built just how we wanted it. This is the start of our journey. Come along with us and enjoy it together. Coming up in this week's episode, we see the Battle of Cropedy Bridge and a new feature, BBT, Badger's Boat Talks. Morning, leaving Banbury today. Going to stop and use the facilities and we're heading up to Cropedy. We walked this bit yesterday, but today we're doing it on the boat. If you're planning on visiting Banbury by boat, there's plenty of mooring all around. Below the locks you've got 24, 48 hour and 7-day moorings, particularly good moorings around the bridge near the Morrison's supermarket. Then above the lock you've got 48-hour moorings around the shopping centre, and then a little bit further on I believe they were 7-day moorings. Plenty of room. We had no trouble getting moored up with the boat whatsoever, and it really is a pleasant place to come and visit and spend a few days. It's worth coming to have a look. So this one is Grimsby Wharf. The previous one was Sovereign Wharf. I got my facts wrong. So
we've got to go right.
We had a lovely time on our short stay in Banbury. Unfortunately, we had to move on because we had to meet our boat engineer to have a service done, which we'd arranged to meet him in Cropedy. So we set off a couple of days early to make sure we were there in plenty of time. In the meantime, please enjoy the rest of the cruise with us. And now for something new.
Good morning. We're moored up on the Grand Union. We've got a couple of days, so we thought we'd show you the outside of the boat. As you can see, it's an enclosed bow. So we've added a couple of things because access to the well deck, or what would have been the well deck, is difficult. We've added a couple of things. We've added a couple of extra T-studs so that when we come to moor up, we've got a fixed length rope. We can simply take that one off, moor up to what we want, pop back on the T-stud. This one normally lives on the other side, but it's for demonstration. There's several ways you can do that. As you can see, we're moored up slightly differently there, but the ropes will normally, when you're cruising, they'll simply live on the front like that so they don't get lost. We've got a bow locker at the front. Very rarely gets used. I think there's an anchor chain and some spare ropes in there, but it's a dry locker, so everything stays dry. The other thing we've got at the front is, because of the access, we've got twin water fill points. So this is something we asked the builders to put in at the start, and it just means that whenever you pull up to a water point, there is always easy access to fill the water tank. Up front, very loud horn, a couple of tunnel lights. We've still not managed to use them, but they are magnetic, so you can move them around. If you wanted a barbecue at the side of the canal, you could always put one across, give yourself a little bit of extra light. But we know they're bright, but we've still not been through a tunnel with them. So obviously nav lights should we ever need them. We do plan to get another button at the front. We've spoken to the fender makers at Braunston. We need something under the front of the boat just to protect you from the seals. So apart from that, that's fairly standard. As you can see, we've got an awful lot of solar on the roof. I will be doing a separate video on that anyway, but just quickly, it's 2.5 kilowatt of solar. It's all tiltable, and it's very useful for hiding anything you don't want people to see under the panels. There's plenty of room. We've got low level vents fitted to the boat, so there's plenty of room under there for all sorts of things, all the nonsense you want to hide. So they are very simple to lift. I will come back to that in a minute. Again, the name that we did ourselves, we decided to go with all portholes. Several reasons. We like the look of the portholes. They are slightly cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter, all double glazed, thermal brake, and also if you ever leave the boat, they are more secure and give you a bit of privacy. Coming down to the centre, we've got the chimney for the reflex stove. We've only used it a couple of times, extremely warm. And also, because of the amount of solar that we got on the roof, we didn't want to use the centre line as a centre line, so we've asked the builders to weld in a couple of extra brackets on the side, so it means that our ropes can stay clear of getting entangled with either the chimney or any of the solar panels. Just makes it a lot easier. So we just have two centre lines, which was very easy when we went up at Thames. It made it a lot easier to handle the boat. We have a couple of duct hatches, go straight through, so when it's really warm we can basically open both the hatches and let the breeze blow through. Great for ventilation, great for sunlight, but when not in use, obviously very secure. Again, right, coming back to the boat, we have, this is an idea we borrowed from another boater. They are basically little garden lights. We keep losing them because we keep knocking them off, but the little garden lights, we put magnets underneath and they sit on the side of the boat. They charge up during the day and then come on at night. Don't give you an awful lot of light, but they do look nice. But I say we do occasionally lose them overboard when we hit them with the ropes. At the back here we have Wi-Fi aerial. It's Wi-Fi on board. 99% of the time it works really well. Occasionally you'll get a spot where there is just no Wi-Fi and there's no mobile signal, so you don't get it everywhere, but most of the time that will run the TV, any tablets, any computers and things. I will, while I'm passing, we picked up this hack from I don't know where, and it's just the hooks to stop them scratching the top here, which we found they've scratched and they also move. If you put a little bit of weed hatch tape in there, it actually keeps them nice and snug and helps prevent them slipping. So we're going to do that on all the others. That's the only one we've done. That was a bit of a prototype, but it works really well. Again, coming back through, we've got Titan pram hood, which we wouldn't be without. It's an absolute godsend. When it's cold, raining or windy, you step out there, it's like having the extra room. It's a greenhouse. You could try your washing in it. You can sit out there. It's cooler in the summer. It's warmer in the rain. We wouldn't be without it. We'll do another video on how we collapse it. It's very simple, literally 5 minutes and it's down or it's up. Again, we opted for solid doors simply because of weather protection in the winter, a little bit more privacy, and we like the look of it because it just means that we can continue the paintwork all the way around with no breaks. And when you come to the back, it's a square stern, which does make it a little bit more difficult to get away from the Armco sometimes, but it gives us more space on the rear deck, which we think is more useful. And of course we've gained a flag. We still need to gain We still need a proper flagpole. This is simply a twig that we found, but it does serve very well. And so that's the outside of our boat. I will be doing I'll be doing another little chat on the solar panels, because there's a lot of questions have been asked on these. So rather than bore you with one long video, we'll come back and do another little snippet, another little 10-minute video on that. Hope you enjoyed it.
So we decided to explore Cropedy after having our boat service done. We were told by our engineer that there was the battle reenactment happening at the weekend after we arrived, so we decided to stay and have a look around. They had one little store in the village, the bridge store, which had lots of convenience produce for you, milk, bread, vegetables, very handy, and just up the road from the canal, just over the bridge. You also had the wharf facilities at the bridge, where you had Elsan, water, and dispose of your rubbish. We had a walk over the Battle of Cropedy bridge, and we had a look at all the signage and all the information. We then took a slow stroll up the towpath, where we found the bridge cottage. It's absolutely beautiful, and this is before the first lock. Then we took a short stroll around the village. Having passed the Red Lion pub, we went into the local churchyard. We were told by the locals that this church had been mentioned in the Doomsday Book, and that there's actually over 10,000 people have been buried in this churchyard. It was very beautiful and very well kept. We then continued our walk around the village. We stopped to have a chat to some of the local residents, and then we continued past the Brasenose pub, where we decided to go for a meal later on in the week, before the Battle of Cropedy arrived at the weekend, because it was going to be very busy. Then you'll see what happened at the battle. We decided to watch day 2 of the battle from the bridge. You got a different perspective of the field and you could see everybody getting into place. We saw the horses and all the people on foot come across the bridge. It truly was a spectacular sight to see. If you're in the area and one of these reenactments is on, I totally recommend it. We had a brilliant 2 days. We'll leave the Battle of Cropedy here. Thanks for watching this week's video. Join us next time when we cruise all the way through to Fenny Compton. Thank you for watching. Bye.